and welcome back for Duo Gaming. It is Sunday night, which means it is Adventures Anonymous. Yes, eventually we will get back to Journeys in Drutori when all of our members are free and healthy and able to continue the work. But for tonight, it is back with the Invictus Sanctum crew deep in the Underdark. And without giving much more of a teaser / stinger, I will toss it over to Okami.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Yes, our intrepid crew is still deep down in the bowels of Cypher's old castle. And having just completed a rather peculiar, we'll call it a training exercise, our intrepid crew has now collected another of the orbs needed to open the door of doors. When we had ended the previous session, everyone had managed to make their way back to the starting line, most of whom were only slightly damp. I mean, everyone had had a little time to dry up, but still maybe a little water in the ears. And now, crew, as you have finished your exercise in futility, training exercise, you now find yourselves back in the same hallway that you had been before, with apparently no idea where to go. What are we planning? What are we thinking?
I mean, the obvious thing is to take that other door that was in the room with all the pillars.
Yeah, I most assuredly agree.
That sounds like a sound course of action.
One second real quick.
I knew I forgot something.
Well, do we have any idea where the other orbs might be? I mean, we didn't pass any other rooms, did we?
Well, there was the door to the left in the room where we met the 3 kobolds. We didn't go down there.
Yeah. You're right.
There's the door to the right in the arcane room we also didn't go to, as well as the southern door in the pillar room.
Well, heck, it's like you've drawn a map.
I have a pretty good memory for this stuff.
Wait, so what was in this room?
Well, it sure as hell wasn't dragon treasure.
Who?
I was promised dragon treasure.
Mr. Scratch, the world does not revolve around your need for dragon treasure.
It wasn't a need. They said whoever finishes the thing and gets the dragon. I finished it.
Perhaps it is the treasure to the dragon.
That's exactly what it was. Remember, the kobolds are convinced that the orbs are the key to freeing their master.
Need to get out more.
You're the only kobold I've ever met who's actually gotten out more.
Exactly. They all should be more like me. Well, never mind.
Are you telling them to touch grass?
To read a book.
I mean, we're really close to the grass anyway. I don't understand the meaning of that saying.
It means get out of the underground cave and onto the grassy plains.
Ugh, sunlight. He starts wobbling away.
Yurai's going to use prestidigitation to dry himself.
Serotonin and your dopamine. The happy molecules.
I keep eating kiwis, but they don't help.
Alright, so where are we going? We've got a plethora of doors to choose from, and a need not to do it at different times because who knows what's behind them.
Hopefully. Hopefully the way out of this place. It's getting, starting to forget why we came down here in the first place. It's been so long.
Captain, it hasn't even been a full day.
We're killing something. We're exterminating. What are we doing down here, honestly?
We need something from the vault.
And to possibly get rid of any pests down here for the Dark Lord. Former Dark
Yes.
Lord?
Isn't he?
And the only way to open the vault is to collect all these goddamn orbs.
Which means we gotta just go around everywhere until we find them. Does anything come off the orb, like an aura, a vibration, some fancy crystal shit after it's been bathed in the moonlight?
I get a magical sense from each one.
Is that a trackable sense?
Maybe, but I don't have any spells that would do that.
No, nobody locates objects in this group.
Okay, objects. Scratch starts like poking around his pouches and his book, his backpack.
I do have the ability. Oh, Captain, you have it, I see.
Do I? I don't know if I brought it with me. Can only fit so many things in here.
Says the man who the kobold who practically invented Mary Poppins' bag of everything.
I mean, you try to keep everything, but sometimes it's hard to carry it all. I don't think I've invented something to locate objects yet.
When did Mary Poppins movie release, and do we think that Mr. Gygax got the bag of holding from Mary Poppins? Because that's a headcanon that I'd like to carry on.
Oh, I'd
A
agree.
bag capable of holding things is fairly common trope in mythology.
Yeah, a bag capable of holding things is a very common trope because it physically exists.
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay,
I
a
can
bag
also,
capable of holding more than what it seems.
I also feel like I can justify the existence of a magical nanny who totes around a particularly styled bag of holding with like a magical parasol. I figure we can make an NPC for that. We'll have to think some things out, but you know, I mean, it's a high fantasy world. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
If you need somebody to play that NPC in any world, please give me a call. Anyway.
No. Artificers don't have access to locate object. What the hell is that?
Do most artificers think it's just fucking
I know it.
a magnifying glass?
You know how to do it? Okay, well then there you go. Why was I looking in my bags for stuff that I don't have?
Right. So, I mean, we have certain ones, right? And we like can get a feel for what's missing based on that room.
Perhaps if I analyze
Maybe.
the orb, I might be able to find the
But yeah,
similar
if you
etheric signatures.
yeah,
They all have different elemental auras. So
right, could we tune in like to an elemental aura knowing that we're looking for an orb? You know. And
it
it's
might
weird.
only work with the same element, in which case it would be useless.
I have the resources to burn. It is at least worth a shot to save time.
Go for it. I'm gonna hand Hallstrom the orb.
Cool. He's going to cast locate object to sense any. Let's see. What ones have we found so far? We have found wind,
Wind, earth, and arcana.
and the one I think we just found is water, right?
I'm sure we need a fire.
Fire is
Fire.
already there.
Oh,
Yep.
fire's already there. So we need. What do we need?
I believe lightning and ice.
Honestly, there's I don't remember which ones are left. But there's like 3 that we still need.
I'm gonna cast locate object to
Okay.
get a sense.
Let's see. Roll me a D100, please, Halstrom.
Oh boy.
Not bad, not bad. All right. So, as you cast this and you examine it with your mechanical eyes, you feel a magical pull. Something on this level is pulling you almost directly behind you through this wall.
We cannot see your indication.
Son of a bitch.
If I had to.
It helps to be on the right layer.
Yes,
The
it does.
dendrite points behind him in the
Yeah.
general direction.
Directly into the wall across from Salt.
So
So we need to go through the door in the pillar room to head that way, right?
perhaps. Either way, there is one on this floor.
Good.
Okay, well, we definitely don't want the kobolds to get it because I have a feeling that they'd just go and plop it right in some random spot. And I'm half convinced that'll just blow it up. So, yeah.
If they do mess it up, I do kind of want to see what would happen with the catastrophic failure.
Activate
I
fast
would
travel.
like to see it from a distance.
Won't want to be anywhere near it because I won't survive. Stuck down here, no sunshine, no nothing, no thank you.
Hey, I spent most of my life down like this.
And bless your heart, Captain, but you were built for that, and I was not.
Yeah, you do have some hard time getting through small tunnels sometimes.
Well, yes, that's because I'm a lot larger than you are.
Shall we walk and talk, crew? Make our way to the orb?
Yes.
Yes! God, can we activate fast travel?
I suppose I could theoretically activate fast travel.
Da-na-na-na-na.
Plop my
Charge.
happy ass over here.
I'm just gonna let God do it.
You are muted, love.
Oh, right, I forgot I'm on push to talk. I've got my 3D printer running, so I don't want people to have to deal with the in the
How,
background.
George?
George is doing good, though. He's got hard work ahead of him this week, but he's doing good.
I got the last 3.
Thank you.
Salt is giving off a lot of light.
Where are we fast traveling to? Oh, God.
So, as you guys make your
Wait.
way...
We weren't going back to the upper level.
This is the
Oh,
lower
I know.
level.
I'm aware.
Okay.
I trust me. Trust me. I assure you.
Can you
Let him do
shift
it.
click where we are so...
I'm waiting for my map to finish loading.
Okay.
It's being look. The Russet's doing his best.
Potato.
Idaho's finest.
He's trying, okay? He's an old man with a spindle drive.
Hmm.
All right, yes. So as you all come down the stairs, Halstrom, your locate object starts pulling you back further and further into the chamber, unsurprisingly. But you also feel 2 separate pulls on this floor.
We have missed some on this floor. We shall follow the scouter.
I thought we were going through the door in the pillar room.
This one seems to be locating one that is closer.
Yeah. As Halstrom pulled you all down, as you guys made your way around, Halstrom would have started leading you down the stairs and felt that pull much harder as it was much closer.
Okay.
The sensor is able to differentiate between the ones all clustered together, right? Since it's the signals would basically be like a group.
Pretty much. So you would know and you would be able to recognize all of the different overlapping signals on top of each other. And you're able to differentiate and say, "Oh, shit, that's not it."
So
Oh,
go back to
they fixed their ability to move multiple tokens at once.
Well, Halstrom, we're going to default to you. You're the one who's able to feel the pull, so well, I'm going to trust that you're leading us in the right direction.
Slow down, I got little legs.
Halstrom walking fast with his hydraulic legs.
Halstrom's casual stroll is Scratch's outright sprinting.
Very much.
Halstrom has a move speed of 40.
Mine is definitely not 40.
I believe that this door was also locked.
I can analyze it. Or we can let someone pick it.
I can blow it up.
That doesn't.
Probably not a good idea.
I got a group.
Make all
Considering
these things.
the reaction that this place had when Lachlan tried to rip a door off its hinges, blowing it up is probably not better.
Shall I roll my thieves' tool, love?
Please, oh please.
Well, even with a crit fail, it's a dirty 20.
So you remember that talk we've had about how if you still pass the DC with a nat 1, you fail in the most, or you succeed in the worst way possible?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Yurei, you're working on your fuss on this lock, and it's surprisingly difficult, and you assume it's just because it's old, until you twist your pick, and you hear a kathunk, and the lock in the door pops out.
You're just trying not to laugh. It popped out.
And you wouldn't let me blow it up.
I think it's just an old lock. I think you didn't have to worry about using any of your explosives, Captain.
Worry? I jump at the shit.
I'm gonna open the door now.
Augie looks around for any repercussions that come with breaking the lock.
There doesn't appear to be anything. The door just kind of creaks a little bit, but there doesn't seem to be any, like, you haven't heard any voices. There doesn't seem to be anything coming for you. It just kind of...
I see plants.
Yeah, you see plants. Yeah, Yuta, you see plants. Augie, you don't see anything.
I'm in the back of the bus. So, are we getting in? Mr. Scratch, you're holding up the line.
Oh, sorry. Gotta switch us around so I fit through the doorway.
Ooh, I spy with my little eyes some books.
Yes, as you all walk in, Halstrom, you're getting two different readings from the two opposite sides of the chamber.
There are two orbs in this very chamber on opposite ends.
I'll take this side.
Well, I am curious about the plants. Maybe some of Sister Luna's, Student Luna's plants can poison knowledge can come in handy.
So, like books. So, I'll go with Rain.
Okay. Before we go too much further, who all is going which direction? Rain and Augie are going towards the books. Yurei is going towards the plants. Scratch and Halstrom and Salt, where are you going?
Scratch is gonna have Salt kneel down here, and he's gonna take a look at him so he can also keep an eye on both sides at the same time.
Okay. Okay.
Elstrom's more interested in the books.
Okay. So Halstrom, Rain, and Augie will go one way. Scratch will be there. Yude will go the other way. Yude, we will actually start with you since you have gone up towards the top.
Mhm.
And yes, as you walk, the plants that you've seen are unlike anything you've seen before. These colors should not be possible underground. The area that you're walking is a soft, very light purple carpet of moss that glows and twinkles very slightly. The plants around you are vibrant purples, teals, and oranges. Some of them definitely look poisonous just based on what you know for poisons, considering who your master's sister is.
Mhm.
But some of the plants you've just never seen before. A couple of them appear to be carnivorous and thriving, which is very strange. And across the way, you see a pool with a small waterfall that appears to have a glowing point in the middle of it.
I'm interested about that glowing point.
All right. As you walk, the moss carpet, it just kind of shifts. And so even as you walk, you're not leaving footprints, and it doesn't appear that you've disturbed the moss in the slightest. A few of the plants kind of seem to be swaying in an invisible breeze. And surprisingly, you don't actually see very many mushrooms down here. You only see a few. Everything else appears to be what you would normally think are thriving surface plants.
It's a impressive little ecosystem they got going down here. Positively thriving.
He says to himself.
He's fascinated, okay?
He's a lot. Look, sometimes you have to talk to yourself and get expert advice.
Hey, I am all for that. I was just
gonna
narrating the narration.
use my mage hand to reach for the glowing point.
Okay. So as your mage hand reaches out over the top of this water, it encounters a barrier just about an inch above the surface and isn't able to actually press down into the water.
Do I need to roll a perception or an arcana or anything to analyze this?
Go ahead and give me an arcana. This isn't something that you've seen before, but you recognize this. Well, allow me to amend. You have seen magical barriers like this before, but you've never seen one that appears to be naturally generating in a climate like this. There's no focus, there's no spells, no runes, no glyphs that would make you think that this area would have any kind of shielding over the top of it. But it just appears to be a barrier against magic.
In that case, I will use my metal hand to reach through.
Okay. Are you using the grapple function or are you just reaching down?
I will reach down. Well, how far is it in the water?
So as you're looking at it, come on. The item appears to be about 10 feet in front of you and appears to be about 4 feet down. And it just is sitting on the bottom right by the edge of where the waterfall is. It's kind of hidden a little bit by the churn of the falls and the foam.
Mm-hmm.
But because it is glowing, you are able to see it.
In that case, since how far it is, I'll definitely use the grapple function on my arm.
Well, you don't want to go swimming? Everybody else did.
I already fell in the water once, don't need to do it again.
All right. Go ahead and roll me a d6, just a flat 6. You have no fucking problem grabbing the orb and pulling it out. And as you pull it out, you notice it's another one of those orbs that you've seen before. And this one appears to be almost pure blinding white. The glow that it emanates is very soft, but is almost entirely pure white. And as you hold it in, you don't feel anything as you hold it in your metal hand, but if you hold it in your flesh hand,
In my non-prosthetic hand.
that
I
one.
hated that sentence so much.
So did I, and I'm the one that had to say it.
Oh, I've got flappy arms. Oh, I hate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's almost as bad as Juber's voice modulations.
Don't
What if I
worry.
combine the pair?
Ah, no!
The best part is this is now going to be immortalized on the internet forever.
Your flesh arm.
Yes. So, Yure, as you hold it in your other hand, you feel kind of a lightness in your soul, as if you're standing outside on a bright summer day. There's a few clouds, and you're just enjoying the sunlight.
Yurei appears. If anyone were to see, Yurei would appear visibly relaxed.
Well, thankfully, there's no one around to see it.
Exactly. He's gonna put it in his bag.
And once you put it in your bag, the feeling fades, but doesn't quite fully disappear. And with that, we will transition down to Scratch.
Okay, why? I know I didn't put a voice box in you. Why are you making sounds all of a sudden?
Scratch, as you kind of open up Salt, you kind of notice that he almost appears to be moving his shoulders as if he's breathing.
Don't have lungs either.
And he just kind of starts to turn his head before moving back. And then a minute later, you hear in a surprisingly soft voice, "I'm sorry, Father."
What? What are you talking about? Why, wait, why are you talking?
When you upgraded me, you gave me intelligence. Was that not your plan?
Yeah, I wanted you to be able to follow commands and do things on your own, but I didn't expect an intelligence boost to, add in all these other features.
And the talking dog does not surprise you?
Dogs have vocal cords. You don't.
Salt just kind of reaches up and he just kind of taps a claw on a spot in his chest. And you see what appears to be a tiny, crude speaker that has just been very shoddily attached and wired to his chest.
Still keeping an eye left and right, like semi-distractedly. Can I investigate this speaker and see if I recognize the work as my own or somebody else's?
Absolutely. Go ahead and give me an investigation. You recognize this is definitely not your work. Your work is much cleaner than this, and the work that has been done it almost reminds you of when you were just starting. It's very clunky, shoddy beginner work.
You did this to yourself.
I had no voice. I wished to communicate with you, Father.
Scratch is freaking out a little bit, but doing his best to keep it calm and collected. No, he's not. Um. mm, Um. First of all, you don't need to call me that. You can call me Captain. Captain's much better. Yes. You. Ah, this is not the time to be having this conversation. We're gonna put all this aside for now. We'll talk about this later. Right now, we just your your purpose is to protect myself and the rest of the crew. Yes.
He nods and says, "Yes, Captain. I will protect you, and I will protect the crew."
Okay. And he kind of climbs down off of Salt and like lifts his hand and hovers for a second before like patting him on the chest area. Very, very good. Yes, very good. That'll do. Stay alert.
He nods again, and then just kind of slowly stands up and just kind of looks over to the left and looks over to the right and looks down at you and just nods.
Yes, that. That's right there. Good job. Kind of clears his throat and looks away from Salt. Still a bit freaking out, but keeping an eye towards Augie and Tamsin's group.
Very good. Bet you didn't expect that, now, did you?
Mm-mm.
See?
All right. So yes, Augie, Rain, Hellstrom, as as Yurei goes left, Scratch stays in the center, and you guys go to the right. Hellstrom, your machines, and your readings are pulling you over towards what appear to be workbenches.
Perhaps it is research. Beep boop.
I would like to look through these scattered books and pages of stuff.
Okay. Augie, are you going to look through them as well?
Yeah, I'll give the help action.
All right. Is there anything specific you guys are looking for?
Any of the keywords that we've kind of been thematically looking for this whole time.
Orb, vaults, apprentice,
Yeah,
magic.
anything like that.
Okay, so the usual
1,000 results for magic.
Searching for magic. This is fucking Jason, you casting detect magic in the Dragon's Court all over again. You've now flashbanged yourself.
Pretty
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so Rain, go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
All right, I should probably pull up my character sheet. That'd be helpful, huh?
It is encouraged, and since Augie is helping, you do have the help action as well, so you will have advantage.
Is loading.
All right, so we'll pause for that. Hellstrom, you are over by the workbenches.
Correct.
As you're looking around, your indicator seems to be leading you towards a satchel on the ground next to one of the benches.
Alstrom will search the satchel.
But pretty quickly, you find another one of the orbs.
I guess it's reasonable that the kobolds just hadn't happened across that because the door was locked. But still, what the fuck?
So Hellstrom, this one that you pull out, it's emanating a very soft, low glow. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong one. This object appears to be removing light from the area around it. Not only does this not exude a glow, but any glow around it seems to fade and dissipate in a small aura around this object that reminds you of the darkness of space. The points in between stars where it's so dark that nothing can be seen. The center of a black hole is what this deep darkness reminds you of. And you feel no effects as you hold it. Considering you don't have flesh arms.
I am a majority of steel. I should hope I do not have flesh arms. That would be quite alarming.
I'm sorry, Augie. It's just a funny phrase.
I have located the object that we are in search of. Have you two found aught of use?
And so, Hallstrom, as you've been sifting through stuff, Rain, you and Augie actually find several books mentioning the apprentice.
Ooh.
And you actually notice that they have a name with them that's not just apprentice.
Oh, tell me more.
The name of the apprentice is Elion Vex. And I will
Sounds like a pretentious prick.
and
Kind of like it in a like. That would be a character in a smut book, kind of.
very good.
All right. Well, I'm gonna swipe anything that has any mention of him.
Yeah, so you actually find several mentions of him.
Now we know, instead of to look for apprentice, that we can just look for Elion Vex.
You find a couple journals detailing his approach of Zypher. You have learned that he found Zypher. Zypher didn't find him. And this appears to be some kind of small study area. And you also notice that there are several mentions of his distaste and dislike of Raylith.
Now we already don't like him.
I feel like you had some pretty good reasons to not like him before.
I said we already didn't like him, and now I don't like him even more.
This is just the cherry on top of the "We Hate You" Sunday.
I was gonna feature him in a smut book, but now I'm gonna make him a side character.
He's like the evil, horrible, abusive partner that the lead leaves and then finds the love of their life 10 pages later.
Yeah. Or he's like, in the beginning you think he might be the villain of the story, but then he just peters out because he's not good enough.
After browsing and stashing everything that mentions him, I'm going to move over to the work tables and see if there's anything of interest. Because if this was a study zone for him, then I might be able to get a feel for his magical habits.
Yeah,
if this was his work area.
There, I'm going to go to the bookshelf to see if there's anything more. Any kind of study grimoire type situations, anything like that.
Would you like another investigation roll?
Yes, please, from both of you. Hallstrom, are you going to?
Mine sucked.
Hallstrom will give assistance, pointing out anything that might be missed.
Okay. Are you going to give the help action to both or just one?
Give it to Augie.
After you see that you're helping Rain and there's not a whole lot over here, it just appears to be some more kind of notes about spell components and stuff like that. Nothing really useful.
Oh, sorry. After Augie's stuff.
All right. So Augie, you're kind of looking through the books and you don't really see much until Hallstrom comes over and kind of points out a couple of the different volumes that you now have noticed are in fact study tomes. And as you pull them off the shelf, they are tomes that look like they belong in Zypher's library. And they're various books about studying immortality and the pursuits of immortality, of true immortality, and the kind of steps and things that someone would need to do, and also about soul transference and how to extend your life by putting your soul into someone else's body, and the steps needed to take that action.
Yoink.
Can I do an Arcana check to see if there's any like magical aura residue bullshit?
Absolutely.
Much better.
All right. Yes. So as you're examining everything, you don't really find anything interesting in the notes. They just kind of appear to be kind of more study guides, not really anything useful to what you're looking for. But you do find there are a handful of these metallic silvery crystals that are they are definitely resonating a magical aura. And they're not like anything you've ever seen before.
I'm gonna use like my sleeve to pick some up and stick him in a little bag, so I can bring him back to Scratch, because he seems to know the most about the crystals.
Okay. Yeah. So,
But I'm not gonna touch him with my bear skin. That just seems like a bad idea.
no, you don't want to touch it with your bare skin.
I'm gonna pass.
All right, fine. But yeah, so you have no problem picking them up in with your sleeve and dropping them into another bag. They're surprisingly light for the kind of crystalline structure that they have. You would expected them to feel more like you're holding a quartz, but they feel much lighter.
Kind of like a silicone crystal.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I couldn't remember the word for it, but yeah, more like a silicone crystal. And the other
Got you.
thing, appreciate you. The other thing that you notice that has a magical aura is a small table lamp right over here on the other table. That appears,
Lamp?
a small lamp that appears to be powered by a yellow crystal.
Can I take the yellow crystal, or do I have to take the whole lamp?
You can absolutely just take the yellow crystal. It doesn't appear to be locked or secured in. It just kind of appears to be a small table lamp made out of what looks like brass or bronze. And the crystal is just kind of sitting on a small stone thing in the middle of it with a nice shade as a diffuser. And it's giving the area a nice yellow glow. But it doesn't appear to be locked down.
So the crystal itself is glowing and lighting the area up.
Correct.
Ooh, this could be very useful for our darkness challenged companions.
Darkness challenged.
Well, yeah.
Look, guys, I'm just darkness challenged, okay?
Not everyone can have my eyesight, okay? I have to be considerate.
All right. So yeah, you take the crystal and hang on, let me get my
Yeah, that one I just picked up in my bare hand.
Yeah, and it has an effect, and I'm just waiting for everything to load because it does a thing.
I accept this challenge.
Scratch, where's the handout for the mysterious cave crystals? I am entirely blind.
You're entirely blind?
Are you really surprised?
Would be probably under knowledge.
Oh god, look, mysterious cave crystals.
Why was it not pulling up for me for some reason? I don't know why, but it did not want to pull up for me. So yes, Rain, as you touch this yellow crystal with your bare hands, you feel as if someone has just sent a bolt of lightning through your fingertips, down your body, and out through your feet. You have taken no damage and you don't feel pain, but it's that sensation of just the energy aggressively whooshing through you.
So it's like a buzziness with like a touch of numbness.
Yes, and it's real aggressive.
All right, I will drop it in my bag.
As soon as you let it go, the feeling fades.
I'm just gonna like stand there, shake it out my hand for a second, like.
I'm sorry. What were you doing? I couldn't quite hear you.
Oh, I was gonna stand there and like shake out my hand, like.
Okay, yeah. All right. So yeah, the feeling returns to your fingers and your arm rather quickly once you've let go of the crystal, but you can definitely feel just like that last little bits of tingling right at the tips of your fingers.
Note to self: never handle these with my bare hands.
They'll be perfect for your darkness challenged companions.
Well, I'm assuming that they wear gloves, so.
Very good. Right, Augie, what are you doing at the moment?
Taking a look at all of the little bits and baubles of growth, and, you know, like a moth, I'm attracted to light and color.
Fair enough. So yeah, as you look around, you notice that the plants down here, the actual plants beyond just the fungi, they look like they should be surface plants. They are these bright fluorescent colors, rich purples, bright magentas, teals, these really startlingly vibrant colors that appear to be growing directly out of the rock. And the mushrooms, as you look around, some of them have almost perfectly spherical tops with the short, stubby stems, and some of them are long and thin and wispy, but they're all just these vibrant colors. Even the big white shelf-looking mushrooms along the sides of the walls, they are vibrant, and some of them glow slightly. They're unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Does anything like at all look like Augie could place it from anywhere? Like, I know you said it's something like I've never seen, but like, is it remotely like a stretch from anything back in the creek or the holler, and like any of we would have had, you know, plenty of people who are foragers and stuff in town.
Give me a nature check.
I'm not good at nature.
These are entirely foreign to you. You can recognize them as fungi, and that's about it.
So, follow up. Augie, would they think they'd get in trouble if they took some samples?
I don't know. Would they think they would get in trouble if they took some samples?
They feel hesitant to break rules. Where's the little Zephyr? I need to ask. I need permission.
Do you call forth Mini Zypher?
I do.
All right.
I can't do without permission. I'd feel too bad.
So as you summon Mini Zypher, you kind of see him look around, kind of surprised as he sees you, and he just kind of, oh, hello. How can I help?
That doesn't sound like the right voice.
Question.
Answer?
Yeah. Well, I hope you can. Look, there are a lot of people in this group that do a lot of cool things with fancy plants and stuff, and they can turn them into cool and other interesting things, and I've never seen any of this before. And can I take some samples, and will they survive the sunshine? Do I have to put them in a cool dark place? Pretty please.
He kind of, in the middle of the air, he just kind of sits down on what you assume is an invisible chair. Just kind of taps his chin a little bit. Well, as far as samples go, you're more than welcome to collect as many as you like. As far as surviving the surface, I'll be honest, and I don't say these words very often, so you're not allowed to tell anyone. I don't actually know.
Oh, I love that for both of us. That means there's no expectations.
No, there genuinely isn't. This area, and he kind of floats around a little bit. He kind of floats over by you, Rain, and then floats over by Halstrom before coming back to you, Augie. It takes him a few minutes. This was my old study area when... And he kind of pauses and he thinks, Rylan and I were children, and this is also where I came down with my young apprentice when he was studying under me. This was an area we would cultivate various plants, various mushrooms, as you can tell, and just an area to be able to enjoy and relax. It never occurred to me to try to take these plants to the surface.
Follow-up question. Do I need my pruning gloves? Like, is anything gonna hurt me to touch? Because, if you're from the holler, you never leave home without your gloves and a couple jars, because foraging is a lifestyle.
Gloves would be a good idea. Most of these plants are probably harmless, but it's been many, many centuries since I've been down here. I'm not sure what's crossbred with what, so there is a distinct possibility that at least one of the mushrooms may try to kill you.
Okay. Any idea which one?
No, unfortunately, if I was going to guess, I would assume it would be one of the bright orange ones, but I don't remember, honestly. And again, it's been so long, I don't know what's bred with what. Something may have bred in the, ooh, you look tasty. Not sure.
I love this, and I think that Scratcher Lachlan's probably also gonna love this. Okay, so I'm gonna don my gloves. They're very old, very worn leather. There's dirt packed on them. Like, they don't get cleaned, they just get used. They're probably handed down from my mama. And I just go about, I have like separate bags and jars and stuff so I can keep everything separated. And I just do enough to, like, if I needed to make tinctures or potions, but not enough to destroy or harm the ecosystem.
Okay.
And by I make tinctures and potions, I obviously mean everyone else, because that's their wheelhouse. I'll just be the vessel.
Very good. Carius, you are correct. You are not in the room with everyone. Let me fix that.
We're not in the room where it happens.
Yum.
Alright, you should now be at least in the entrance of the area. Yes, so Kyrius, let me catch you up real quick. You guys are down back on the second story to investigate some of the orbs. Halstrom used a locate object spell. It brought you back downstairs, and now you guys are investigating this little chamber that you're in. And I will come back to you in just a moment. Yes, Augie. So you're able to collect. How many jars do you have?
I don't know. I'd have to roll.
Okay. Roll me a 6, please. Okay. You have 6 empty specimen jars on you that you can collect from. That you can collect with.
Yay. I collect. I don't know. You know what's there, not me. I am but a humble servant to your servitude of storytelling.
Okay. Is there anything specific you're looking for? Any specific color of thing? Are you looking for mushrooms versus plants? Plants versus zombies? Wait, that's a different one.
Always looking for plants over zombies because I don't fuck with the undead. We all know that by now. 2, I'm super interested in the phosphorescence. And then I do want to take the ones that Mini Zephyr was pretty sure were potently poison. And then anything that looks relatively fun or interesting.
Okay. So yeah, you're able to harvest some of the orange mushrooms that definitely you're very glad you have your gloves. There's a couple blue mushrooms that have kind of similar spotting patterns on the caps to the orange mushrooms that you're able to harvest. There are some yellow mushrooms that have a completely smooth yellow cap. There are some green mushrooms that glow very slightly. Once you shade them a little bit, you notice they glow. And you're able to collect those. There are brown mushrooms that stink to high heaven when you cut them.
Stink bombs, love that for everything.
And then are you just collecting mushrooms, or did you want to collect some of the plants too?
Let's collect some of the plants as well. We got 2 more bottles.
Okay. So yeah, so some of the plants you collect, as you collect the leaves, they're rather almost sharp as you're collecting them. They didn't appear to have spines, but the leaves are very sharp as you're collecting them with your gloves. And then there are some of the smaller buds that are a bright reddish pink color that smell interesting. You can't quite put your nose on what the smell is. It's kind of a sweet smell, kind of a floral smell, kind of an earthy smell, kind of a mushroomy smell, but none of those at the same time. It's a weird smelling plant.
And then I want to put them in my bag to keep them in, the dark.
Very good, very good.
But I put the brown ones the brown mushrooms in a separate pocket because I will not be giving them to anybody and I will be using them not for good.
Very good.
I'll just meander back. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo.
All right, so Kyrios, what would you be doing in this chamber? Where on one side you have a cavern with a lush moss carpet, various plants, and the other side you have what appears to be a study center, also with mushrooms and plants. He's away from keyboard, never mind. I can't read, we've established this.
One day you'll learn how to read.
I refuse. Point blank.
Unfortunate.
principle. DMs don't need to read. We need to be able to improvise. All right. Well, while we wait for Kyrius, did anybody else want to do anything in this area as we bring the group back together?
Um,
I'm pretty satisfied.
yeah. We got what we came for, right?
I think so. Okay, I think Kyrius is the only person that we're missing. So we will go ahead, we will pursue forward, and Kyrius will be attached with one of those, like the kindergarten safety ropes. We'll just have one tied around his waist, and somebody will be dragging him along.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of those child leashes that doubles as a backpack.
Even better. And if Kyrius doesn't like it, then he can speak now or forever hold his peace.
Too bad, so sad.
I was really hoping that was gonna summon him, and he was just gonna pop in and be like, "Okay, I'm back. What'd I miss?"
I mean, we could keep stalling. But that's no fun.
Stalling?
You stole
You
too much,
think-
and Augie will have to leave.
Fair enough. Yeah,
I'd
we'll
like-
go ahead. We'll push forward a little bit, and then we'll just have Kyrie. Somebody will be bringing Kyrius along. All right. So if you guys have found everything that you're looking for, then as you head back out, what's the plan?
So far, I have found the orb of, I believe, shadows.
Very good. Did we find both of them in here, or just the one?
Yes, what was the other one that needed to be found?
The other one was the orb. If I had to guess, was the orb of light.
That makes a certain amount of sense.
Do we want to
Okay.
deposit them and then go looking, or just keep them?
I'd say we should keep them until we know what the last one is.
All right.
There was no test here or anything like that? That seems odd.
I think it's more symbolic than testing.
Suddenly,
Hmm.
cave in.
We found some interesting things about you know who.
Yeah, we have a name.
Have a name?
A name.
For the apprentice.
Elion Vec.
If you have a name, that actually probably makes it easier to locate them.
Yup.
Well, that's good news.
Hey, DM, how much time
Also-
has passed?
So,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Augie. I was curious about the concentration for locate object.
so go ahead and go with the locate object at the moment, and then we will circle back to what Augie was saying, unless Augie remembers what they were saying.
Well, he
I
was
knew what I was
wondering.
going to say, but it's fine.
He was wondering how much time has passed since we started locate object.
Like if they have to recast or not.
Right.
Yes.
So, it's probably been, like, unless you guys were speed running all of your investigations, you guys have been probably going for about half an hour, 45 minutes. We'll say half an hour.
Okay, so then I definitely need to recast. Locate
While-
object only works 10 minutes.
Yeah. While they're recasting, Augie is gonna pull out like a journal or something and be like, "Anne, with these materials that are directly of the hand of Elion Vex. If anybody learns Scry, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to find them.
Sadly, none of us are wizards. I'm not very...
That's not exactly my forte, but maybe we can ask Zypher when we get back to the... Is that the surface now? Or no?
No.
Less
Once we
underground?
get back to the relative surface. How's that?
What do you
But
think?
we could. I don't know if Mineo has Scribe, but as a cleric, they would have access typically to that spell. You know, just saying. Or if we can find a scroll, or, you know, a scry stone or something like that. I mean, some of us have really haughty funds that they could donate to the pursuit.
Scratch just standing there whistling to himself.
Why you look so like you got something on? What are you hiding?
Right. I didn't... Happy mood. We got 2 more orbs. Yippee!
No, you're hiding something. I don't even need to roll for that, buddy.
Oh, that reminds me. I picked up some crystals in this other room
Oh,
that I
crystals.
thought might interest you, and I was right.
What a convenient change of subject.
Mr. Scratch, before you lay a hand on that crystal, you better at least pull me aside and tell me what's going on, or I will karate chop the living daylights out of you.
I don't... I mean, you mentioned funds, and I mean, I have funds that we use for the ship, but... I mean, I don't know how much a scrying magical item would cost us. I don't know if we can afford such a thing.
Sir,
What?
you're not getting sketchy about the scry. You've been sketchy since we walked up.
What? He kind of glances to Salt.
Is it an obvious glance?
It's like the quickest little, like, eye movement.
Are you trying to hide it?
No.
Alright. What's up, Mr. Scratch? Why'd you look at Salt?
Do you remember when, when we all thought it was kind of strange that the dog started talking?
Yeah, that was the spell.
Well, you see, I made a little enhancement that would increase a creature's intellect if worn, and I installed it on Salt because, you know, I hoped he could, you know, make some tactical moves on his own without having to constantly be told by me to do things. And well, he became smart enough to work on himself.
Oh, what?
So
They do say that sentience is the basest form of intellect. Thus are the teachings of the Mechanicus.
he installed a voice box.
On himself?
Uh-huh.
He is in Salt, made a voice box, and put it on himself so he could... What?
But I have a suspicion he took apart one of the communication boxes on the ship and took the little sound maker from that.
Well, that just gives us another ally. Well, the same ally, just with a boost. Look, if we can get used to Brutus, it should not take that long to get used to Salt.
As you say that, Augie, Salt looks over at Scratch and just kind of in a very monotone voice, is now a good time for me to talk to them?
Daddy.
No, Captain.
You can
Nah.
refer to me as Auntie Augie. Thank you.
Anyway, crystals?
Are they like the crystals that were in that cave system?
Aren't they?
Rain?
So I found a bunch of silver crystals on a table, and I had a distinct feeling I should not touch them with my bare skin.
That is very
'Cause
good.
They look almost like I don't know, like toxic. And this yellow one,
Don't
which I did touch, and it
yellow
was
one.
tingly.
Can I see the silver ones?
Oh yeah, here I stuck them in this little bag. I will
Scratch.
hand Scratch the bag.
Scratch puts on a leather work glove and reaches in and takes the silver ones. Are they like the big one I have?
They have a very similar silver sheen, but these ones are swirling more than the other one is.
From what I've been able to read on these crystals from the limited sources, does this look like the effect or the observable effect that one might have when the crystal is quote unquote full?
It does.
Oh,
These look very similar. These look similar to the first time you found these crystals in the first cave when you were in that small little alcove, those giant clusters.
mm-hmm.
They look very similar to that with similar swirls of dark and light.
So, this is probably not the best time, but probably the appropriate time. I learned quite a while ago that, and as he talks, he takes his backpack off and reaches in to get the big silver crystal. I learned a while ago that, the silver ones, they kind of suck your soul out of your body and pull it into the crystal if you touch it.
Well,
we
it's good
just
I
get-
didn't touch it then.
We get Elion to touch this crystal, and it pulls the soul out of the body.
I had hoped that would be the proper solution, which is why I didn't say anything, just in case anyone was captured or tortured for information I didn't want anyone to know. But through further research, there's no guarantee on which soul we pull out of the body.
So then we prepare two, and we go back in for the other one.
But there's also no current, well, at least not that I'm aware of, there's no currently known method to release the soul from the crystal.
I have a suggestion.
What's that?
We give these to Cypher and have him make some kind of device or invention that can do exactly what we want it to with a specific target. He works on that while we find out more. Seems like a win-win to me.
Scratch looks a little bit offended by that notion.
Mr. Scratch will need to ask for help sometimes.
I still don't quite trust him.
I think you might have your hands more than full with your new intelligence in your friend there.
That's totally different. Totally different.
Mr. Scratch, do we know
Not like
anybody
abominable intelligence.
who would be able to assist? Like, anyone that you've ever met, are they up to the caliber of this mission?
Tina.
You know what? Better yet, there's several of those crystals. We'll give half to Zypher. You can take half. But between the two of you, I'm sure that someone will come up with something.
Rain, let me ask you something. You found these here, right?
Why?
I did.
And we are currently in a place where Zypher would work and live.
And then
this...
Actually, it looked more like it was the apprentice's workshop.
Really? Well, this one,
Yes.
and he holds up the different crystal. This one's already loaded with some body, some spirit, something. This one's already loaded with something.
What if you break it?
Probably a bad idea.
Was there any, like, research notes to go with the crystals?
We didn't look, but we can go back.
Actually, I think Augie may have picked up a book or two that I could use to get more information. The notes on the work area were all blah.
They were black?
Blah, as in useless,
Ow.
arbitrary nonsense. But if I can get a look at those books, maybe I can learn some more.
I hand the books over.
All right.
Woo, research gap.
Yes. So, Rain, as you flip through these books, you notice that they very much appear to be textbooks. And as you flip through them, you notice that there are a lot of notes, excuse me, in the margins of a lot of these books about test 1 failure, test 2 success. And there are notes about need to try again, bigger subject. And you notice that they're all on the pages discussing immortality and soul transference. And they don't appear to be in the same handwriting that you've seen from Zypher. They appear to be a different hand.
Would it be the handwriting from the journals that the apprentice wrote?
Yes, it is a very similar handwriting. It's not exactly the same, but it looks like this is more of a rushed, hurried version.
So it looks like there's some notes jotted down in these books, but they're very, very brief. So we might be able to find more detailed records, basically, either in the journals or maybe some stuff that we missed in that back room. Who wants to come help me look?
I mean, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, now that we have an idea more so what we're looking for.
Salt, stay here, please.
Salt nods and then just kind of hunkers down and is just kind of kneeling on the ground.
Yes, Papa.
If you find something you can't read, pass it on over.
As you say, yes, Papa, Augie, Salt replies, he has asked me to not call him father. He prefers for me to call him captain.
Papa is not the same word as father.
I do believe it derives a similar meaning from its interpretation.
Hailstrom, it is spelled differently. It uses different letters. It is a different word. It does not matter the root communication. I have tried to teach Salt how to get around boundaries.
Maybe you should be teaching Salt to respect boundaries.
There is always a loophole to things, Salt. You just have to be smart enough to find it.
I will have to discuss that with my captain later. For now, I believe it would be best to continue your research. I will not be able to assist in this endeavor, but I will stay here and guard the door.
Scratch, I do not like my sassy nephew.
That is my boy.
Since y'all are doing research, Halstrom's going to investigate Salt.
All right, we will come back to the investigation for Salt in just a moment here.
Doing the general tech maintenance.
Yeah. So, yes, Rain and Scratch, I assume the two of you are looking together.
Yes.
So, yeah, so you both find, Scratch, you find them first, but you both find more notes from the apprentice, more detailed notes about his tests with the silver crystal. And you find his notes become more frantic as they get further in, since it appears that he's talking about feeling his body decaying. Zypher's a fool to not share the immortality. I'm so close. I shouldn't have any problems. Why isn't it working for me the way it worked for him? And then talking about the different creatures and the different servants that he has exposed to the crystals, and finding that sentient humanoids have the best reactions to being stored in the crystals, but it seems difficult to try to find a willing vessel to allow him permanent access to their body. You find notes of him talking about, like, this has to be how it works. It has to be how he did it. You know, he has to have taken another body. That has to be how he's doing it. And the notes go on to talk about his tests and trials of putting his soul and consciousness into the other bodies. And the strong
I would imagine that as it gets more frantic and, like, insane, I would have to start reading it for Scratch because of just general chicken scratch.
General Chicken Scratch, and he seems to be devolving into some kind of bizarre, disjointed, undercommon, draconic Sylvan hybrid language thing. It seems like he's melding more and more languages together as he's desperately trying to find a way to maintain his youth and his life.
You say anything about who we put in the crystal?
Do we come across anything like that?
Oh yeah, he's got notes of people that he's shoved in the crystals. It's servants that he doesn't think will be missed. It's there was a woman who washed his laundry incorrectly, and he felt that was unforgivable, so he put her in a crystal. There was a guard that disrespected him as he walked by and didn't acknowledge who he was. But he had a youthful body. He might be a good test subject. And there's about 24 people corresponding to the crystals that he has apparently put into these crystals to try to test to see about a soul transference.
Just a question. If I look around, do I see any sign of bodies?
No, this is there's no signs of bodies, no bones, nothing like that. It's just a cavern with pillows and books and things like that.
Okay, so he likely wouldn't have done his experiments here. This is just where he would have recorded his findings.
Yeah, that's kind of the gist you get from the notebooks. Is the experiments were done casually, almost as if he would just walk by and just brush someone with one of the crystals, and then they would collapse, and then he would move on, or he would run and get help.
So I vote we gather this all up and bring it back to Cypher.
Probably a good idea, but let me copy this list. And Scratch would copy the list of names that he has used his crystals on.
Okay, okay.
Okay, is there anything else of interest on the table? Any, like, makeshift tools, devices, specialized? Anything that looks specialized for this kind of study?
There's a few jeweler's tools, and there's some scrap metal that looks like it would have been used to make like necklace chains or bracelet chains or rings. Things that he could surreptitiously put the crystals into, and then as he brushed up against someone, wouldn't be very obvious as to what he like. It would just look like he had just brushed up against someone.
And then they die.
Well, they wouldn't die. They would collapse.
And nobody saw a pattern.
No, because sometimes he would find people that were on their own, swipe their souls, and then dip. If there were witnesses, he'd call for help, but if it was somebody by themselves, he would just leave them to their fate.
Mm-hmm.
So it would seem
That's rude.
What a scumbag.
It would seem he's found a way to cut the crystals without them losing their properties. Yes?
I'm gonna try that again. I got about 2 words and about 4 syllables.
From that knowledge, it would seem he's found a way to cut the crystals to fit these certain things and not lose the qualities of the crystal in the process.
Yes, he would have had notes in there as well about shaping the crystals into something else, and how he could as he worked them down to smaller amounts, as long as he didn't break the crystals, as long as he just could grind them down, then he would be able to keep the properties of the crystal. You do notice that he has several notes about accidentally breaking them and then the people waking up.
Interesting.
Of course, that's
So-
probably not an option currently.
Well, they would have to have some kind of vessel to go into. A body.
Considering Zypher's, general population of his surrounding towns, I think we should leave that up to him.
Alright.
Seems to me like he could cobble together something out of his bucket of adventurer parts.
Very
Or is that
less...
too macabre?
No, I think that's... Yeah. Maybe even those people's bodies still exist somewhere, we don't know. Is there any sign of gem-cutting tools in this workshop?
No, the only thing that's left that you would be able to cobble together, the idea of the jewelry, is the leftover metals and the scraps of like necklace and bracelet chains. Actually, Scratch, real quick, roll me a history check.
History.
You recognize this style of chain on the blacksmith that you met earlier.
Calceron?
No, the guy at the opening of the mouth who was wearing the chain with the pendant that had complained about headaches.
Oh god, no. Wait, where was that? Asking
just
as player.
outside.
Smithing village
Yeah.
before the entrance to the mines.
Yeah, right out front by the
Ah.
mines in that village there.
It was the one where there were a few bullies haggling, or I guess heckling a merchant, and y'all stepped in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you asked him about the necklace, and he proudly told you that his wife got it for him, and then you told him that he should be careful wearing it, and he kind of waved you off, like, I'm gonna wear the necklace my wife got me. Jeez.
Okay, so alright.
So
Has
wifey
Rain-
wants him to disappear, is what we're assuming.
Has Rain already walked away as I've realized this?
Yes.
Okay. Need to talk to that wife. And I'll follow. Keep that little tidbit to myself.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do in this area before you mosey your way forwards?
I don't think so. Did Kyrius ever make it back?
Carius had to
Oh
leave.
no, he left.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good here.
All right.
No. Now that we are done investigating this room, shall I cast the device?
Yes.
And with that, Hellstrom will recast locate object.
And I do have to depart at this time, but everybody have a great night.
You too. Well, since we have Augie leaving, do we want to go ahead and call it for tonight, and then we can pick back up in the room with the orbs?
I think that's a good idea.
That works for me.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
In that case, Molly, do you want to give the tagline?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
One of these days, you're going to give me more than 8 seconds notice, and I'll be able to practice.
Well, the 8 seconds are up. It's more than 8 seconds now. But it's fine. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in this Sunday. Make sure you check out the Discord, the TikTok, the Twitch, which you are here now, the YouTube, us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and the Facebook. Do all those wonderful internet things with the likes and the follows and the subscribes and everything else. And just remember, there are 20 sides to every story. Roll for yours. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.